Gheranda Samhita, Part 5. Pranayama, yogic breathing process. Prana means life force, and Ima signifies regulation or control. Thus, Pranayama means regulating the life force. Now I shall explain the technique of pranayama, by the mere practice of which a human being becomes like a deva or god. First select the place and time, eat moderately and purify the nadis. After this, pranayama should be practiced. Deciding on the place. Yogic practices should not be done in a far-off place, in a forest, in a capital city or in a crowd, otherwise there will be loss of siddhi, lack of success. Far-off places are forbidden because no one can be believed in a distant country, a forest is an insecure place, and in a capital city there is excessive population. Therefore, all three places are prohibited for pranayama. It should be done in a beautiful spiritual region, where food is readily available, and the country is free from internal or external disturbances. Making a hut there, construct a boundary around it. There should be a well or a water source. The ground on which that hut is constructed should be neither too high nor too low, plastered with cow dung, free from insects and in a secluded place. Pranayama should be practiced there. Deciding on the time. Yogic practices should not be commenced during winter, extreme cold, summer or the rainy season. If yogic practices are undertaken during these seasons, it leads to the spread of diseases. It is correct to start the practices during spring and autumn. When yogic practices are undertaken during these seasons, one certainly attains success and becomes free from diseases. There are 12 months in a year from Chaitra, March, to Phalguna, February, and 6 seasons, each of 2 months' duration. In practice, each season is experienced for 4 months, from Magha, January, to Phalguna, February. There are seasons of 2 months each and also experiences for 4 months each. Chaitra to Vaishakha, March to April, is spring, Vasanta. Jyeshtha to Ashadha, May to June, is summer, Grishma. Shravana to Bhadrapada, July to August, is the rainy season, Varsha. Ashvina to Kartika, September-October, is autumn, Sharada. Margashirsha to Posha, November to December, is winter, Hemanta. And Magha to Phalguna, January to February, is extremely cold, Shishira. From Magha to Vaishakha, January to April, spring is experienced. From Chaitra to Ashadha, March to June, summer. From Ashadha to the end of Ashvina, June-September, monsoon rains. From Bhadrapada to Margashirsha, August-November, autumn. From Kartika to Magha, October to January, winter. And from Margashirsha to Phalguna, November-February, extreme cold is experienced. It has been said that one attains success by commencing yogic practices during spring and autumn. Balanced diet. If one begins yoga practice without following a regulated diet, mithara moderate and balanced eating, various diseases will afflict them, and they will never attain success in yoga. Rice, barley flour, and wheat flour, green gram, moong dal, black gram, urad dal, chickpeas, and husk-free white grains should be consumed. Pointed gourd, patola, elephant foot yam, surana, kakkola, a type of aromatic seed, tender greens, dradhika, a type of edible plant, cucumber, karkati, plantain, rambha, fig, dumarika, and thorny vegetables should be consumed. Tender fruits, young sprouts, plantain stems, radish, brinjal, eggplant, radish greens, and rithi, a medicinal plant, should be included in a yogi's diet. Young leafy greens, balashaka, dark leafy greens, kalashka, leaves of the pointed gourd, patola, the 5 types of greens, panchashka, vastuka, bathua, and himalosika, a type of cooling herb, are praised. Pure, sweet, unctuous, oily, and not exceeding half the stomach's capacity, food consumed with a pleasant state of mind is considered mithara, moderate eating. One should fill half the stomach with food, 1/4 with water, and leave the remaining 1/4 empty for air circulation. Prohibited foods. One should avoid sour, salty, and bitter foods, roasted food, curd, buttermilk, strong flavored vegetables, alcohol, palm fruit, and jackfruit. Horse gram, red lentils, pale colored grains, ash gourd, vegetable stalks, bottle gourd, jujube fruit, wood apple, thorny bale fruit, and the palasha tree should be avoided. Kadamba fruit, citron, bimba fruit, lakucha, wild jackfruit, garlic, poison, kamaranga, starfruit, pyala, wild almond, asafoetida, silk cotton tree, and kamuka tree should also be avoided. At the beginning of yoga practice, one should abstain from sensual pleasures, contact with women, and fire, overheating activities. Butter, ghee, milk, sugar, jaggery derived from sugarcane, freshly ripened fruits, coconut, pomegranate, and old fermented wine should be avoided. However, grapes, lovely fruit, Indian gooseberry, amla, and non-so fruit juices are acceptable. Cardamom, sesame, cloves, long pepper, pippali, rose apple, and jambul fruit, as well as haritki, myrobalan, and dates, these should be consumed by a yogi. A yogi should eat food that is light to digest, pleasant, unctuous, oily, and nourishing to the body's tissues, appropriate for their needs and desirable for the mind. However, they should avoid food that is hard, harmful, putrid, excessively hot, stale, extremely cold, or excessively spicy. A yogi should not subject themselves to severe bodily austerities, such as early morning cold baths, excessive fasting, harsh bodily penance, or prolonged fasting beyond a set time. Following these guidelines, one should practice pranayama, breath control, properly. At the beginning of the practice, one should regularly consume milk and ghee as part of their daily diet. In both the afternoon and evening, 2 meals should be taken. Purification of the nadis. On a seat of kush grass, or deer skin, or tiger skin, or a blanket, facing east or north, pranayama should be practiced after purifying the nadis. Chanda Kapali asked, how is nadi shuddhi, purification of the nadis, to be done? What is its form? I want to listen to all this in detail. O kind-hearted one, be kind and gracious enough to tell me. Sage Gheranda replied, if air cannot flow through the nadis because they are full of waste products, how can pranayama be perfected, and how can tattva janana, subtle knowledge, manifest? That is why one must first perform purification of the nadis, which is of 2 types, samanu and nirmanu. Purification of the nadis performed along with the bija mantra is called samanu, the one performed with the practice of dhoti karma is called nirmanu. A description of dhoti has already been given in the Shatkarmas. Now listen, Chanda, to the samanu technique by which the nadis can be purified. Sitting on a seat, a yogi should assume padmasana and perform guru nyasa, rotation of consciousness over different parts of the body. Then according to the directions of the guru, practice purification of the nadis in order to practice pranayama. Keeping in mind the Vayu Bija Mantrayan, inhale through the Chandramarga, left nostril, repeating the Bija Mantra 16 times. In the meditative state one should consider this Vayu Bija to be the color of bright smoke. Thus, after Purka, inhalation, through the left nostril, one should perform Kumbhaka, holding the breath, repeating the mantra 64 times, and then repeating it 32 times perform Rechaka exhalation, through the right nostril. Raise Agni Tattva, fire element, from the navel center and meditate on its light associated with earth. Keeping in mind the Ram Bija and repeating this mantra 16 times one should inhale through the Surya Nadi, right nostril, perform Kumbhaka while repeating it up to 64 times and then exhale through the left nostril, repeating the mantra 32 times. Focus the mind on the image of the moon at the nose tip and repeat the Bija Mantra 16 times while inhaling through the left nostril. One should retain the breath in Sushumna, repeating the Bija Mantra 164 times. One should fix the mind on the flow of nectar from the moon at the tip of the nose and clean all the nadis with it. Then one should exhale through the right nostril by repeating the Lam Bija Mantra 32 times. After purifying the nadis, subtle energy channels, in this way, one should further cleanse them properly. Having attained steadiness and sitting in a proper posture, one should then practice pranayama, breath control. The 8 types of Kumbhaka, breath retention, are Sahita, Surya Bhedana, Ujjayi, Shitali, Bhastrika, Bhramri, Murcha, and Kevli. Sahita pranayam is of 2 types, Sagarbha and Nigarbha. In Sagarbha pranayam, Bija Mantra is used, Nigarbha pranayam is practiced without Bija Mantra. Sagarbha pranayam. First, I will tell you the technique of Sagarbha pranayam. Sit in Sukhasana, facing east or north and meditate on red-colored Brahman, full of Rajas Guna. Inhale through the left nostril with japa of Bija Mantra 16 times. After the end of the inhalation and before the beginning of Kumbhaka, apply Uddiyana Bandha. Then retain the breath up to a count of 64 with japa of the Bija Mantra and meditate on dark-colored Hari, Krishna, full of Sattva Guna. Then exhale, repeating the Bija Mantra 32 times while meditating on fair-complexioned Shiva, full of Tamas Guna. Then inhale through the right nostril, retain the breath and exhale through the left nostril repeating the Bija Mantras in the same manner as above, practicing alternate nostril end of Kumbhaka, close both nostrils using the thumb breathing again and again. After inhalation, until the and the little fingers, do not engage the index finger and middle finger. Nigarbha pranayam is practiced without Bija Mantras. The left hand moves on the left knee to keep count of the pranayam consisting of inhalation, retention and exhalation from 11 to 100 counts. The highest form of pranayam consists of 20 measures of breath retention. The medium level consists of 16 measures, and the lowest form consists of 12 measures. Thus, pranayam is classified into these three levels. From the lowest level of pranayam, the body begins to sweat. From the medium level, the body may tremble like Mount Meru. From the highest level, one achieves complete detachment from the earth. These are the three signs of success in pranayam. Through the practice of pranayam, travel in space, elimination of diseases and awakening of kundalini is achieved. Bliss manifests in the mind through pranayam and one becomes happy. Surya Bheda Pranayam, Sun-piercing Pranayam. Sahita Kumbhaka has been described, now listen to Surya Bheda. First, breathe in deeply through Surya Nadi according to capacity, retain the breath with Jalandhara Bandha until the whole body, from the nails to the hair on the head, begins to sweat. Prana, Apna, Samana, Vyana, Udana, Naga, Kurm, Krikra, Devdutt and Dhananjaya are the 10 pranavayus. Prana is in the heart, Apna is in the anus, Samana is in the navel, Udana is in the throat, and Vyana is in the whole entire body. These are the 5 main pranas. Naga, etc. are the 5 subpranavayus. Naga manifests in belching, Kurm in opening of the eyes, Krikra in hunger, Devdutt in yawning, and the one which does not leave the body even on death is called Dhananjaya. From Naga comes consciousness, from Kurm comes blinking, from Krikra comes thirst and hunger, from Devdutt comes yawning and from Dhananjaya, which never leaves, comes the voice. At the time of practice, separating these pranavayus, raise Samanavayu, which comes from the root of the navel with the help of the Surya Nadi and then slowly exhale through the left nostril. Again inhale through the right nostril, hold the breath as per the technique and exhale through the left nostril. This process should be repeated time and again. This very process is called Surya Bheda. This pranayam, Surya Bheda, is the destroyer of old age and death. It awakens kundalini and the fire inside the body is activated. O Chanda, I have narrated to you the best pranayam known as Surya Bheda. Ujjayi Pranayam, psychic breath. Inhaling external air through both the nostrils, suck the internal air through the heart and throat and hold it by means of kumbhaka. Then emptying the mouth, apply Jalandhara Bandha, hold the breath to capacity in a manner which does not cause any obstruction. This is called Ujjayi Kumbhaka. With it all works are perfected. Diseases from kapha imbalances, nervous and digestive disorders do not manifest. Diseases like Amavata, tuberculosis, respiratory disorders, fever and spleen-related disorders are cured. If Ujjayi Kumbhaka is perfected, old age and death are also managed. Shitali Pranayam, cooling Pranayam. Fill the abdomen by sucking air through the tongue. Retain the air for a short while with the help of kumbhaka and expel it through both nostrils. This beneficial Shitali Pranayam should always be practiced. By practicing it, digestive disorders and kapha pitta disorders do not manifest. Bhastrika Pranayam, Billows Pranayam. Breathe in and out forcefully through both nostrils, filling and emptying the abdomen like the billows of a blacksmith. Repeat this 20 times, then hold the breath. The learned ones have named it Bhastrika Kumbhaka. It should be repeated thus thrice. By practicing it, no disease or disorder takes place and a disease-free state is increased day by day. Bhramri Pranayam, Humming Bee Pranayam. After midnight, in a quiet place where no sound of any living being is heard, a yogi should practice inhalation and breath retention while closing the ears with the hands. One listens to internal sounds with the right ear. First the sound of a grasshopper, then the sound of a flute, then the thundering of clouds, then the sound of a cymbal or small drum, then the humming sound of bees, a bell, a big gong, a trumpet, a kettle drum, a mridangam or a drum, a dundubhi, etc. are heard. Thus, by practicing daily, one has the experience of listening to various sounds and the sound of the shabd, sacred sound or vibration, is produced in anahata. In its resonance comes the internal vision of the 12-petaled lotus in the heart. With the merging of the mind into the flame, one attains the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Thus by perfecting Bhramri Kumbhaka, one attains the siddhi of samadhi. Dhyana is 8 times superior to japa, tapas, austerity is 8 times superior to dhyana, and music is 8 times superior to tapas. There is nothing greater than music. Murcha Pranayam involves performing breath retention comfortably. Take the mind away from material things and focus it on the eyebrow center, merging it with the Atman. By perfecting Murcha Kumbhaka, bliss is certainly attained. Kevali Pranayam is the soul of every living being, which repeats how with each exhalation and so with each inhalation. Every human being takes 21,600 breaths during one day and night, known as Hamso or Soham Ajapa Gayatri. Every living being always keeps on repeating this mantra. The air goes in and out through three places: Mooladhara, the heart lotus, and the two nostrils. The length of the gross body acquired due to one's karma is 96 angulas, while the length of the natural outgoing air is 12 angulas. When singing, the breath is 16 angulas long, while eating 20 angulas, while walking 24 angulas, during sleep 30 angulas, during sexual intercourse 36 angulas, and during exercise even more. If the length of the natural exhalation is reduced, life is increased. Life expectancy decreases when the length of exhaled air is increased. It follows that death does not occur while pranavayu exists in the body. When the pranavayu is spontaneously kept in the body, it is known as Keval Kumbhaka. Throughout life, living beings spontaneously keep on repeating the Ajapa mantra, while yogis must do it consciously. In Kevali Kumbhaka, there is no regular respiration. If the rate of reduction of respiration is doubled, then Manonmani, or extreme bliss, takes place. Drawing the air through the nostrils, just spontaneously suspend the breath, performing this breath retention known as Kevali up to 64 times on the first day. Kevali Kumbhaka should be practiced daily 8 times or practiced 5 times as specified, in the early morning, noon, twilight, midnight, and in the fourth quarter of the night. Alternatively, practice 3 times at the 3 sandhyas, at sunrise, noon, and at sunset. Until this practice is perfected, keep on increasing the scale by 5 times along with Ajapa Gayatri. One who perfects pranayama and Kevali is called a real knower of yoga. Having mastered Kevali Kumbhaka, what cannot be achieved in this world?